Hello. Welcome to the International Coaching Week. This is CTI's offer for one of our three offers for the International Coaching Week. And we're delighted to see you. I'm Michelle Goss, and I'm here with my amazing friend and colleague.
Angelo Bivens, pleasure to meet you all.
Yeah. So we'll say a little bit about ourselves first, just so you know, like who we are beyond our names. Angela, you have all kinds of hearts going up on your screen. People like you already. They love
Clearly, I'm such a lovable guy.
you. Seriously, it's so great. Well, like I said, I'm Michelle Goss. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I've been coaching for 27 years, like maybe older than some of people on the call. I don't know. And then I've been training coaches for 24 years. This topic of trauma work and trauma-informed coaching has been a passion of mine for about 20 years. I've studied it in different formats, but in a very much focused way in the last 2 years. And it's where Don Angelo and I got even more connected. So I'm delighted to be here and share some tips and things that may be really helpful in launching into this area.
Angelo Bivens. I'm also based in Atlanta, Georgia. I have been coaching leaders around the globe for the last 20 years. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist by trade and have known about trauma ever since 1994, the start of my undergraduate school year. I might be telling my age a little bit, still very young though. Um, and trauma is quite, greatly important to me as well. I've suffered a lot um, of trauma in my lifetime, and some of it's still not cleared away, and continuing to do the work that I need to do to get there. And so, like Michelle, I think it's greatly important that we as coaches know how to be with people who are suffering trauma right in front of us without digging into their past. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're assuming many of you have already had the experience of clients coming to coaching calls or coaching sessions now with more challenging, complex issues. And some of that comes out of, the world is changing so fast and it's speeding up. Like every dimension of life seems to be changing faster and faster. And so it makes it harder to keep up. And that's part of why we're looking at uncertainty, because that rapid pace of life and change can create uncertainty, which can absolutely trigger a lot of fear, which can touch into trauma. So we have 90 minutes to explore that together.
We do. We do. And to that point, this session is going to be interactive.
Yeah.
We're not just going to be here talking. We want you to experience what it is that we are here to offer you. Just a sample of what it's like to be with people and their trauma. Some of you have done coactive, and so you know what process is, our course around dealing with emotion and the body. This takes it even deeper, right? And so we're going to do a large group exercise. We're going to send you out into a breakout room, and then we're going to do a small group exercise in front of the room. And
I'll
I'm,
add something right there. Yeah, right
yeah,
there is a great place because if for some reason you cannot be in the triad, which by the way, it's not a coaching. So if you have any performance anxiety, you can relax. You're not going to be coaching. We're going to give you more of a sharing experience and something to try while you're listening. But if you can't be in a triad, we want you to do something right now, which is change the name on your screen. Well, you can see. Actually, I just realized they may not be able to do that.
they
If you,
should be able to.
okay, so you should be able to click on your name in your profile, and I'm going to show you what it will look like. So I'm going
Yeah,
to,
do the same.
all right. This is really a test for me to see how good I can do this. There, you're going to rename yourself just like Don Angelo did, and you'll put NT for no triad. in front of your name. And that will help our amazing tech host, Denise, who's in the background. She's going to be setting everything up for us. That'll help her know not to put you in a triad. You'll be in a room by yourself. Well, actually, a quiet room with a number of other people not participating in the triad.
So, we're going to start with the chat box on, and at some point, we're going to turn it off. We believe it's important that we not multitask when we do this, because it will be distracting and take you out of the experience. And so for the moment, we are requests that you drop into the chat box how you're coming into the call. What's the emotion that's sitting with you?
While you're checking in with yourself to kind of find that emotion and name it, we do see in the chat, whoops, tech snafu, you can't change your name. We're the only ones who can. So
Got it.
we're
Okay.
going to come up with a plan B. You're going to watch us be wildly creative. Don't know what that looks like yet. But for now, putting your primary emotional state, your state of being or emotional state in the chat. And we're just going to take a look at some of these. And you can too. Look, calm, open,
Overwhelmed, anxious,
uh,
rushed,
curious.
wasn't prepared. That's quite all right.
Yeah,
How you come in is just perfect.
yeah,
Managing, fatigued, interested.
yeah.
Yeah,
Heartbreak.
yeah,
So you can see there's a range of
yeah.
um, tender, tender space, and just a whole range of how we show up all the time, right? We all show up with some particular emotional state, no matter where we are. And one of the things that's so important in trauma-informed coaching is being able to tap in and identify, what is that?
Yeah.
What are you
And
seeing?
it's interesting that you would say that. Michelle has been teasing me since I've been on the camera this evening talking about my shirt and her picture in the background.
Yes, I
I
need
am
you.
a man who loves art, as you can see.
Me too. So
All
great.
right.
So we will close the chat in a little bit, but we also want you to know that down here, there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, the bottom of your Zoom window. And if you have questions or insights that you want to post there, we will circle back and we'll look at questions and take them. We'll also be inviting you to join us. If you have something you want to ask, put your question in the chat and we'll invite you to come on screen with us and interact with us directly. So that's one of the ways we'll engage as well.
So, um, one of
Um,
the things about trauma
Michelle
that,
and Angelo, I wonder if we probably can use a Q&A to know who might not be participating actively.
Okay,
So I can set up the rooms just by seeing their questions on the Q&A.
great
well,
idea, Denise. So if you didn't hear that, we'll say it again. If you cannot be in the triad for whatever reason, put that in the Q&A, put your name in the Q&A. I guess it shows up in the Q&A. Just say I can't be in the triad and she'll see that. Denise will see that and she won't put you in the triad.
right, awesome. So, as we talk about being trauma informed, whether or not it's trauma informed leadership, we're here to talk about trauma informed coaching today. It is very important that you resource your own body to do that, which means that you have to be significantly present to what's happening within you to be of service to your client. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But for now, what we want to discuss is that the fact that trauma lives in the body. So often when we talk about trauma, we talk about it from this thing that sits between our ears. And it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. It lives in the body. Those moments when you're triggered, what has you triggered? There's a physical reaction emotion always manifests physically. And so we're going to teach you how to be with your bodies and how to be with your clients' bodies today.
We're going to give you a practice. Don Angelo is going to lead us through a practice in a moment. And this is something that you can do for yourself anytime. You can also bring this into your coaching practice. You could start a coaching session with this practice, or you could end a coaching session with this practice. So anything else you want to say as way of setting it up?
I want you to get comfortable, whatever comfortable is for you. Allow your feet to be flat on the floor and just get in a position to relax. I'll give you a moment to do that. And all I want you to do is listen to my voice. And so whether or not it's that you have a soft gaze or you choose to close your eyes, it's completely up to you. And this might be a little different, but I'm asking you to play with me anyway. Just try it on. I want you to take a few deep breaths, allowing the air to go all the way to the bottom of the soles of your feet. I want to get you present to your body and get you centered in your body. So let's start with notice your spine. Your spine runs from the base of your skull to your sacrum, also known as your tailbone. If you can notice your spine, your body is centered. Now I want you to go to your feet. Notice the bones in your feet. If you can notice the bones in your feet, your body is now centered. Come up to your legs. Notice the bones in your legs. Your bones sit in the center of your legs. If you can notice the bones in your legs, you now know that your body is centered. Come on up to your thighs. Notice the bone that sits in the middle of your hamstrings and your quads. It sits in the center of your thighs. If you can sense your bones in the center of your thighs, you now know that your body is centered. Find the bones in your pelvis. Your pelvis sits in the center of you. If you can find the bones in your pelvis, you now know that your body is centered. Come up past your abdomen to your chest plate. Locate your sternum. Feel your chest plate wrapping from the front to the back, reaching your spine. Notice your clavicles. If you can feel your chest, your sternum, your clavicles, you now know that your body is centered. Let's go through your arms, starting with your hands. Locate your bones that sit in the center of your hands. If you notice the bones in your hands, you now know that your body is centered. Come up to your arms. Notice the bones in your arms. Your bones in your arms sit in the center of your arms. If you notice the bones in your arms, you now know that your body is centered. Each one of you sits on ground. That ground sits on earth, Mother Earth. What I'm about to ask you to do is your birthright. We ascend from the earth and we descend back to it. And so it is your birthright to remove or to accept, a better word, to accept energy from the earth and to give it back to the earth. You will not harm the earth. The earth feeds off of it. So I want you to take your tailbone. I want you to allow the earth to crack open for you. Allow your tailbone to reach the center of the earth, feeling its warmth, all its energy. Now allow the roots of the earth to run through your feet, coming up through your legs, filling up your pelvic bowl. Don't be shy. Take as much as you need or as you want. Filling up your abdomen, wrapping itself around your spine, coming up and filling up your chest, your neck, your arms, your head. Fill up with Earth's energy. Take what you need. It might be confidence. It might be energy because some of you are fatigued. It might be stillness because some of you are rushed. Take whatever you need, as much as you need, while giving back to the earth that which you no longer need at this moment. That lack of confidence, that feeling rushed, that anxiety, that uncertainty. Give it back to the earth. You will not harm it. Take more. Fill up. This is a great way to resource yourself with Earth's energy. Mm. I can sense some of you easing back into your bodies. Take a little more. Give away that last ounce that you don't need. And when you're ready, I want you to touch your skin. Come back to this time and place that we are now.
Thank you, Don Angelo. That was beautiful and powerful. And fortunately for all of us, that's recorded. So after this webinar, this will be posted, I believe, on YouTube, but you'll be able to come and listen again, take yourself through that, you know, making it your own in whatever way you wish. But what beautiful grounding, connecting, embodying experience, Don Angelo. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
So what we want you to do now is come back to the chat and just check in and see what's here now. What's the emotion or state of being that's here now? And put that in the chat. If nothing changed, you can say nothing changed. Take a look at what's showing up in the chat. Beautiful. Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Mm.
Oh, oh, great.
Thank you
Wonderful.
for allowing yourself to be open to the experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to talk about what is trauma, right? When people tend to think about trauma, they tend to think about these big things that happen in people's lives. Some of the ones that come to mind immediately is I've been witnessing, or I have witnessed in my youth, domestic abuse, and in some cases, verbal abuse. Um, you know, as a gay man, I was chastised by family and people who had no idea who I was before I even knew that I was a gay Black man. And so I've suffered trauma in my life. But those are typically the big things. Trauma is not always big things, right? If I were to think about myself again, I come from a very humble beginnings. I remember there not being heat for winter, my mother not being able to buy the name brand shoes I wanted or the clothing that I wanted. Family members being on public assistance. As I was growing up, I said, that will never be me. I will not have that life. And I don't. But yet, my trauma is always worrying about money, even though I make far, far more than I could ever even use in some cases. I've been very blessed that way, but it's still something that I hang on to that bothers me. I've done some work on it, and I'm still doing work on it. So it's not just the big things, right,
Yeah.
Michelle?
Yeah, I want to add in here to what you're saying, Don Angelo, because we we want to make a distinction here between trauma, which is what resides within our system and our bodies, and a traumatizing event, which could be a situation or a moment, some of what you're pointing to, and you're talking about both actually. And so a traumatizing event is a situation or a moment where we did not have the capacity to fully process what was happening. Often it's because we're really young or because the event was just too overwhelming. So in that sense, you could substitute unresolved hurt or pain for the word trauma. And with that, you could see just about everyone, if not everyone, has some unresolved hurt or pain. Those are the sources of unhelpful patterns. And so, one of the reasons we want to say this is that to not make trauma something that we push out and say, oh, those people have trauma. Like we all do. And this is why we think it's so important to educate ourselves on becoming trauma informed so that we can do our own work to become more clear and more available to support clients who show up with unresolved hurt or pain.
A spiritual point of view might be that when you find yourself triggered by whatever has happened, it is your body saying, I need help here. It is your body's way of getting your attention to place attention on it, to do something with it in service of you and your body, right? Most people talk about trauma from this standpoint, what's happening up here. But when you do that, you then shut off the body. We are here to assist you in learning how to reconnect the mind with the body so that you have access to all of you, not just what's happening here, where so many people live. Right.
What happens when we only operate from our intellectual understanding of trauma is that we actually repeat the trauma because we're not touching in and opening the wound that needs release and needs to be healed. We're just repeating it, which is in essence creating separation. And that separation is what keeps trauma alive and repeating and repeating and repeating. So we want to give you very high level overview of three of the most common symptoms that trauma has been activated. Trauma, the person is reacting or acting from a state of trigger. And they're so common that they're missed because, well, you'll hear as we go through them, they're just
Yeah.
all the time. So go ahead, Don Angelo, if you
Yeah.
want to lead
So
us
the
off.
first one is going fast. We all know those people, and it may even be you, um, where you love to change the subject when hard things come up. There's a sense of running from whatever the issue is. And there's this urgency that comes from speeding or speeding past the emotions or the physical manifestation of whatever that is that you are dealing with.
May I give a dramatic reenactment? Yes.
Please.
Here's what it could sound like. Not only this, but it could sound like this. A client shows up to a session and they're saying, "Oh my gosh, I had a meeting with my team today and everybody was just like going nuts about this one project. It's just not making any sense, but I know what I need to do about it. I just need more time to do it. But oh my gosh, I've got the kids and we got to go to soccer. And then my husband's mad at me because I'm not really home and I'm not really available, but I really do know what I need to do." So I think what I want to talk about today instead is I want to get a new dog. It's one example how it could sound. It's a little bit exaggerated, but not
Yeah,
necessarily.
yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is going hard. You're tight, defended, you're pushing this sense of wanting to control things. You're trying harder, pushing things away. Emotions are becoming harsh, critical of self and or others. I got this one down to a science.
Would you like to do a dramatic
I'm
reenactment
happy
for
to do
us?
that. I told you I don't want to do that. Instead, you need to go over there and mind your business, right? You need to go handle that. When you're done doing that, you need to come over here and handle this. I'll do this, right? And it perpetuates. It goes on and on and on. It's actually in talking about in control, it's a loss of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can feel in both of those examples so far, the separation, the disconnection, remember that, that beautiful grounding technique that Don Angelo just took us through? That wasn't present in either of those examples. It's like up and out. The energy in the person comes up and out, either out to point and control and take charge, or to speed past something. In either case, there's a disconnection. And then the third, so we've got go hard, go fast, go hard, go numb. Go numb is very popular. This is where you want to either disappear, get distracted, not able to focus, space out, didn't hear the question, um, disengaging, disconnecting, going mute, being invisible.
Yeah, it's a lack of presence.
Yeah.
And more often than not, people leave their bodies. Like they're
Yes.
physically there, but
Yes.
they're not there. And
Right.
you know when this happens because you'll say, "Did you hear me? Are you paying attention?"
Or it'll be like this. Let's say you're coaching on Zoom and your client is, oh, you can hear the keys clicking, multitasking.
That's right.
Or there'll be, you can feel the client, you ask a question and you're like, where'd they go? You can sense they're leaving. Now, again, separation. Now, we're being kind of light about this because we don't want to make this too heavy, but it happens all the time. And one of the things that's so important to remember is these are protective strategies. Remember, there's unresolved hurt and pain in here. And so when that's happening, it is our instinctive reaction to protect. And so we want to respect the intelligent reaction and response to protect self. And we want to do that in a way that doesn't indulge the continuing shutting down. And that can be a little bit tricky, but we want to acknowledge first that was an intelligent response to either disconnect, disengage. It was too painful to stay present back whenever the thing happened. But now, as an adult who can practice gently being present, there's greater opportunity for healing, and you may not need that same protective strategy.
Those strategies that Michelle is talking about, she used a word that I want to put some light on, and that is intelligence. Your trigger or your defense mechanisms, whatever shows up in you when you have that moment that you are triggered, there is intelligence there. But we don't look for the intelligence. We make the emotion wrong, or we make somebody else wrong. We don't look to find, what does that have to tell me? And that's going to be greatly important here, that we train our clients to be with the intelligence that is available in their hurt, in their pain.
The other thing that's important here is we're going to do an activity in a few minutes where we're going to have you practice having, our bodies read one another all the time, whether we're aware of it or not. We're always reading one another's bodies. With, like, my body's reading Don Angelo's, and I'm actually, and you are too, Don Angelo, reading the bodies in the who are on attendance here. Even though we can't see you, we can feel you, and you can feel us. If you tune in, you can absolutely feel us, and you can feel others in this space. And so we want to do an activity where you can practice consciously listening with your whole body. So your ears will be involved, they're part of your body, but we want more, like this having your whole body sense what's happening when someone's talking, sensing, are they going fast? Are they going hard? Are they going numb? And to sense that with generous receptivity rather than, oh, they're going fast or hard or numb. They shouldn't be doing that. Like, that's our judgment, which is, again, it's going hard. That's an example of going hard. So,
And that judgment, more often than not, takes us out of being able to experience the person in front of you.
yes.
And so we are request that you turn off the judgment, that you simply be willing to be, because you are a human being. And the way that I spell being is BE-ING, right? You are a being in front of another being. And so give yourself permission to be still, to not be in your head about what's happening, but to be in all of your body.
Oh, this is going to be a really good challenge, because we want you to be in your body while you listen to these instructions and read them. In a moment, we'll go through them, and Denise will put them in the chat. And I did see a couple of you came in a little late and are wondering, what is this triad thing? We're going to tell you in a moment, but it is not a coaching, an actual coaching. It's really a listening and a sharing. One, you'll be in groups of 3. One of you will talk, 2 will listen, and then everyone will have a chance to do both of those roles. But let's check with Denise first to see, Denise, do you need anything else to set up the triads?
Just give me 1 more minute and I'm gonna be almost done.
For
Great.
those who may not have heard the instruction, if you're not available to do this, raise your hand and Denise will not put you in a group.
Or I think her instruction was to put it in the Q&A.
Got
It's
it.
tracking it in the Q&A. Yeah, great. All right. So we're going to walk through and tell you what we're going to be doing. So this, like we said, it's a triad. Each of you will need, if you're going to participate in the triad, what you'll need is something that is challenging for you in your life right now. You might not want to bring your most intense, traumatizing challenge, you can, but anything that's challenging will absolutely be perfect for this exercise. And then you're going to have 2.5 minutes to talk about the challenge. And your colleagues, your other two colleagues who are in the group with you, are going to be silent. So this is not ask a powerful question time. This is not articulate what's going on. You're listening with your whole body, and you're listening to the person who's speaking. You're listening to their body, right?
Trust that your body knows what it's doing.
Yes.
Don't worry about trying to figure it out. Because if you're trying to figure it out, you're not in your body, you're here, right? Trust your body knows what it's doing because
Yeah.
it does.
We promise you can't get this wrong. This is a practice.
It's like, the example that comes up, some of you may have children and or have been around children, and you notice that something's about to happen. Your body picks up on what's happening, and then it registers in your mind like, oh, my baby's about to hurt themselves, right? So let me rush to their aid, right? That's your mind and your body being still and observing what's happening. Allow yourself to do that here.
Yeah. So let me check with Denise again, because we want her to be able to put the instructions in the chat so that when you go to your breakouts, the instructions will be there for you. So Denise, are you available to put things in the chat?
Since I am still receiving NTs,
Okay.
maybe one.
All right. Great. All right.
The other thing to be thinking about when you are in these triads, where are you in paying attention, allowing your body to pay attention to someone else's body? Are you going fast? Are you going numb? Are you going hard? Right. So those of you who are not going to be in this, you don't get an easy way out, right? This is not an easy way out, just so you know. Michelle, what are we going to have them do?
We're going to ask you to reflect or journal on your relationship with going fast, going hard, going numb, and to really scan your life and come up with some times where what has you go fast in your life? What are some examples that trigger you to go fast? What are some examples in your life that trigger you to go hard, where you get controlling and tight? And what are some examples that are triggering you to go numb, check out, distract, disengage? So we'll want you to journal on that if you're not in a triad. So Denise is putting some of the instructions in the chat now, so we'll walk through them. So you'll be in a group of 3. There might be a couple of groups of 2. We don't know yet. We will have the total time, the countdown at the top right corner of your Zoom window so you can watch. We intend to be able to put prompts in to tell you when to switch. We're not sure that will work, so we want you to pay attention to the time. You're going to have, what did we decide, D'Angelo? I think it's a total of 5 minutes each.
Yes.
5 minutes each. Yeah, each round will be 5 minutes. So you're going to, first, when you get in your groups, you're going to take a moment to say hi, introduce yourselves, and decide who will be the first speaker. And the first speaker is just going to share a challenge for 2.5 minutes, while the other 2 are listening with their whole bodies, just checking in. What are you picking up? What are you reading? Right? You're not going to share that. You're just going to switch to the next person at the end of 5 minutes. And is that right? Do I have that right?
2.5 minutes.
2.5 minutes, right.
And then we're going to give them 5 minutes to discuss in the end.
Thank you. Sorry about that. There'll be a little time to switch. We're not going to say switch. We're going to, because we don't want to go fast. We're going to give you a few seconds to recenter and then switch and go to the next.
So before you switch and go to the next, we actually want you to do something to shake off that other person's energy so that you can be with that person, that next person, and bring all of you to them versus bringing something from the previous person.
And then you'll see there in the chat, after all three of you have had a turn, you take 5 minutes as a group to talk about the experience. Right? And then consider these two questions. What was it like to practice listening with your whole body? And what was it like to be listened to by two other people with their whole bodies? Okay. This will go really fast. You'll be
Yeah,
surprised.
it will go really fast.
Yeah.
Are we
Denise.
ready, Denise?
Yes, we are.
All
Awesome.
right.
We'll see you shortly.
Your voice. We're back. We're all back now. So we want to invite you to start sharing with us. So you can put some comments in the chat, what that experience was like for you, what you learned, anything at all. And we really want to hear your voice or see your face. So if you have something to share, please raise your hand. There should be, let me see, on. Now I'm looking at, I'm not so used to the webinar format, so I'm looking for the raised hand feature. Sorry, bear with me. I don't see it. Do you see it, D'Angelo? There's not one.
But
You, Shay.
Shay says there isn't one.
Okay. Well, if how about this? We will take a look at the chat and see what you're putting in the chat. And
Michelle, we do have people raising their hands. Do you want me to?
So let them speak.
yes,
But I don't see how to let them speak.
can you help us with that, Denise?
Yes.
Thank you. Bear with us.
Yeah.
We're trauma informed. We're not Zoom webinar tech informed.
Right.
There's a difference.
I'm gonna be allowing one by one as soon as I see them. So Janine, it's right there. She can.
Janine. There's Janine.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, well, there I am. Beautiful coactive colors there. Okay. So,
Janine.
hi friends. This was fantastic. And what I'll say is both of you know me. So you know I tend to be fast anyway. So I purposely was slowing myself down. But gosh darn it, my beautiful people listening to me could really feel that I was going hard. And in the debrief, they were saying, I just, in my body, they wanted more space. And I found that so helpful as a place for me to look where I'm storing this and what I'm doing with this challenge.
Yeah.
I could cry. It was just so helpful to hear the feedback from their body to mine. And gosh darn it, I was going slowly, but that didn't, my body, was giving them the clue. So it was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you're really talking about the difference between speaking slowly and energetically going
Mhm.
slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Or
thought I was
fast.
doing both, but I obviously was not. So it was very powerful.
Wow.
Very
Thank you,
powerful.
Janine.
Thank you.
Thanks
Yeah.
for talking with
That's
us and
it's
sharing.
really brilliant because I think you're meshing two things, it sounds like to me. One is energetically taking up space while also the body vibrating at a rate that imposes on others,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we're not talking energy here today, so I'm not going that route.
Okay. I got it. Thank
That's
you.
for another webinar.
Yeah,
That's for another webinar.
thank you.
Thanks, Janine.
Thank you, Janine.
All right, Denise, anyone else who's raised their hand?
Promoting Dinah.
All right, welcome. It takes just a minute for the.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's read some of the comments while we're doing that. Got it. So we do want to take responsibility for some of the tech issues. Frederick wrote, a lot of people who didn't want to be put in a room were put in ours, and we're all out of camera, so we didn't feel safe to talk about the trauma.
Right.
But we apologize about that, and make sense why you would not talk about trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're sorry. There was some confusion about our setup. And what I want to say is how beautiful that you recognize, like you're in tune enough with your body to recognize, oh, this doesn't feel safe to me. And that it sounds like you honored that. That is super important.
Yeah. Crystal wrote, I reflected in a situation from this weekend and noticed how going hard or going fast can be a reaction, the same trauma experience. It was really interesting to reflect back and sense my body and the discomfort I was feeling. Wow.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Trauma is stored in the body.
Mhm.
And if you don't deal with it, it doesn't go anywhere. There will be things that will happen that will bring up that same experience once again.
One
Uh,
of our teachers has taught us trauma has no future. It repeats the past over and over. And only when healed uh, do you and your whole system have more of a destiny. And I just think that's so, it's profound.
yeah.
Flo in the panelists. So Flo, you can share.
Hello.
Hi, Flo
Hi.
Alvarado.
Hey, Flo was one of my former
Hi.
students.
Yes. I felt so held.
Mm,
Um, Not gonna cry. I have an eyeliner. I felt so held, um, articulating things that have just been stuffed for about 48 hours. And it was just so special to be held and heard by someone without an agenda, without expectations, without adding to my plate, without trying to take anything off of my plate. And for me, that was just so special.
Yeah.
love what you're speaking to because there is so much happening in this country right now and across the world in some cases. And people don't know how to be with themselves. And so to hold space for somebody is one of the greatest gifts you can give them. To allow them to be in all of their presence and in their body without you imposing your words and or actions upon them, just holding and taking whatever it is that they're experiencing in, not taking it into your body, but feeling the presence of their body and their emotion so that they are heard is one of the greatest gifts you can give.
Yes.
One of the greatest gifts you can give. Right.
And
And our
Flo, come
clients
back.
don't get it.
Can you bring Flo back for a minute,
Yes, let me
Denise? We didn't mean to whisk you away, Flo. We didn't want you to go, Flo.
An example of this, I have this C-suite executive that I'm coaching at a major university. And she came on the call yesterday, and I just held space for her to say what she needed to say because they're dealing with cutbacks, and the president is not not a lawyer, not somebody who is academic, and that raises issue. And at the end, she was like, wow, I feel so much better. So much better. Flo, you were about to say something.
No, I wasn't. I was the one who went on off video and off, but
Oh, you did. Okay.
yeah, I did that because I want to not take up more space. There are others.
Fair
Well,
enough.
I wanted to say something to you, Flo, so I'm glad you came back. Um, I'm so struck by the way you felt so held, and also the magic of when we're willing to be fully present, our bodies reading one another. Your body naturally did what it needed. It unburdened what you were carrying that you didn't need. It's really that less is more thing, it's a little too trite for this, but the less I impose, kind of what you're saying, Don Angelo, the less I impose, the more space I hold, and the more generously receptive I am, the more trust is in the space for whatever needs to happen can happen.
You know, I love where you're headed, Michelle, because the word that we need to put in this space is called co-regulation.
Yes.
You as a human being cannot do your own work. When you are dealing with trauma, you need somebody to help co-regulate your body, because if I'm the coach, you're the coach, you help the client co-regulate their bodies with your body. So you need to be in ease, you need to be present, you need to be grounded, you need to slow things down so that they can come into their full self or come back to their full self. Right.
And
So
this is prep.
if you're rushing, you're going to give that away to the client. And that's not what you want.
Yes.
Right.
Thanks for coming back, Flo. Thank you. All right, we'd love to hear from someone else. And while Denise, you're bringing someone else on, we want to address, there was a question, Becky asked, what's your definition of trauma informed? And what we want to say about that is there's not a lot of agreement on what that means. Even like certain therapists will agree it means one thing, other therapists agrees it means something else. There are all these distinctions: trauma literate, trauma informed, trauma aware, trauma sensitive. And so there's not a lot of agreement. Here's what we're landing on. For coaching, trauma informed means you've had specific training in how to recognize and respond to trauma. That's it. You're getting some of that now. It's not, we're not doing a super deep dive, but that's how we're defining it right now.
And the way that Michelle and I deal with trauma is not about revisiting the past. It's not how we deal with it. We deal with what comes up in the moment in terms of the energetic principles that are happening in the body, and using our bodies so that our clients feel us feeling them, right? How does it go? The
I
client
feel,
feels,
I feel
I know.
you. I got it. I got it.
Yeah.
I feel you feeling me. That's co-regulation,
Yeah.
right? It's part of why we wanted you to practice listening with your whole body, because that's what you were doing. You were feeling yourself, feeling the other person. I feel you, feeling me, feeling you. You gotta go on and on with that. But, yeah. All right.
Shay is there, so maybe.
Okay, great. Shay.
Oh,
Hi,
hello.
Shay.
I love this background. First of all, I appreciated the meditation that happened before we went into the breakouts, because I think that, similar to other people, I feel like I would have been triggered had I not had that in the beginning. Um, it just reminded me to reset my body before listening, and allowed me to be present for each individual. And what I felt when I was sharing, I felt that, I don't know how to describe it other than a cave of understanding is how it felt. It just felt like there, you go into a cavern and a cavern is vast. And it felt like that it just became a space for me to fill up as much as I needed to, as much as I needed to get out. And I recognize that I'm an empath, and so I pick up on energies very easily. When you talked about being able to sense the people who are here that we can't see, I can paint a whole picture. Someone has a blue couch and there's cats sitting on it, I don't know why. But that connection has always been an issue with me and clients. And this is the first time that I've been able to really connect with my body. And so I'm really grateful that meditation was recorded.
Yes.
So thank you for that. I deal with, my focus is trauma informed coaching,
Mhm.
but this is the first, I guess, official training that I'm attending, and I couldn't have asked for a better session. So I'm really, really
Hey,
good.
hit me up. I can give you all kinds of things you could do.
Well, you were also my teacher at CTI when I was doing my certification. Um, so I will definitely hit you up.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really appreciated this. Thank you so much for allowing us to make space. Glad I found the raise hand button.
You're welcome. You're
Uh,
welcome. And thank you for being here, Shay.
And thank you for sharing that. One thing I want to share based on what you're saying, Shay, is there's a point in the learning journey, and you may already have this because you're an empath. It took me a while to get the difference between registering in my body what was going on with someone and absorbing it or getting triggered by it. Those are
Mhm.
very different things. And it's really powerful to have that distinction. So that's for anyone who's exploring this, is to really feel in your body the difference between registering it and absorbing it or getting triggered by it. Those are maybe two different things.
Yeah, I practice veiling, um, and that tends to help in those situations when very crowded or emotionally charged
Yeah.
incidents. And so I think that this practice is definitely going to help with that.
Right.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Um, I lost my train of thought, so I'm gonna let it go.
There we go.
We'll come back.
All right. Thank you. I think we
Thank
have
you.
time for one more. We can look at I'm gonna look at what's in the Q&A.
Yeah.
So
I love
Monica,
what Kelsey put up in terms of Kelsey Miller. She's one of the last people. She talked about trauma attuned versus being trauma informed. Um, I love that phrasing. I love it a lot, actually, because one of the things that Michelle and I do is it is called attunement, right?
yes,
And it's vastly important to be attuned with what's happening with yourself so that you can be attuned with what's happening with another. There's a lot of different words we can use, and I think that's a brilliant one.
that's great. Yes.
Yeah.
Hello,
Hello.
I feel like I got through on the crowded phone lines to my favorite radio show.
That's
Wow,
You
I'm
did. You
hating
did.
myself. I'd like to request a song.
what else would you like to say?
I was put in a room by some divine source with my friend T, who I haven't seen in a while, and he is a great listener, but the way I experienced being listened to by his full body was kind of like, a lot of restaurants have hard surfaces and noise bounces all over the place.
Mhm.
It just felt like that there was like upholstery and like luscious fabrics where I could say things and they were held. They weren't bouncing all over the place.
Yeah.
And my energy felt held. And it was just a really exquisite experience to be witnessed that way.
Yeah. So when you think
Beautiful.
about uncertainty, how does that factor in?
Uncertainty on the listening side or the speaking side?
Uncertainty, dealing with clients who are living in this space of uncertainty.
That's like most of my practice right now. I think
Mm.
it's what we're all swimming in. And yeah, what you said about witnessing your post-secondary leader client, Don Angelo, really resonated. Sometimes I was like, okay, where are we going? What's the topic? Like, how do I serve you powerfully? And it's like, calm down, just chill.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thing that came to me as you were sharing is I love that imagery you conjured and the invitation for us to be the upholstered sound room that receives
Mm.
the chaos and uncertainty that our clients are wrestling with. And so that, they're not having to carry it, similar to what, Flo was saying, she's unburdened by stuff like that. That upholstery can actually absorb it and it won't harm it, kind of like your meditation of sending it into the earth. It won't harm it, and it won't harm us as coaches if we know how to actually hold that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of those listening lounges where you go to, maybe there's nice beverages, but like a hi-fi system with like a really good record player, and you're like, oh wow, this song can sound like this. Like
Yeah.
it's a different experience than playing it on Spotify on your iPhone.
Mhm.
Right.
That's a brilliant analogy.
Great. Right. That's so great. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
sharing.
Tara.
Thank you for this. And T, I think I'm not going to say your full name, but thank you for listening so well. It was really exquisite.
Beautiful. Thank you. we have one more activity for you and then a couple of things to do. I do want to answer this question from Monica she's asking, is going numb the same as disassociating? Yes. It is one of the expressions of going numb is disassociating. All right. Okay, so are we ready to shift into the
We
last
are ready, I believe.
piece? So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a guided practice, guided meditation. And it's about cultivating confidence. Like you've been in this webinar for 75 minutes now. And so we'd be surprised if you all felt supremely confident at coaching anything related to uncertainty or trauma. And yet, there is an energy of confidence that you can tap into or you can receive, and it can grow in you. And so we're going to do a simple guided practice where I'll walk you through it. And in a moment, I'm going to have you identify or become aware of a symbol that represents confidence for you. It could be an animal with which you have great affinity. It could be an ancestor or a guide or a special touchstone or even a grove of trees. It can be anything. You don't have to overthink it, just receive what shows up. And this will be brief. So when you're ready, you can sit back and let your eyes gently close or go soft focus. Just take another moment to breathe, reconnecting with your body fully. Noticing what you're experiencing in this moment. Maybe there's lots of flow, tingling or streaming. Maybe there's tension or fatigue or something else. Welcome whatever is here with no need to change it. Doing so actually has you be more present. And now tune into your emotional state, your state of being. And even if you can't name it, welcome it, whatever's here. That generous receptivity that you had for others in your triad, bring that to yourself. And now bring into your awareness a symbol of confidence, something that holds the resonance and energy of confidence for you. It could be something you're familiar with, or something new is showing up. It may shape shift a bit until it becomes clear to you what your symbol of confidence is. And now imagine bringing that symbol closer to you physical presence, physical proximity. And if you're willing, invite that symbol to blend with your body. Feel that symbol of confidence merging into your own physical body and infusing every cell in your body with the resonance and the purity of confidence. And you might feel your cells soaking it up and plumping up with this energy of confidence. And now allow it to emanate out around your body, filling your auric field, that space, your personal space, all around your body. Notice what it feels like to bask in this confidence, knowing that you can bring it to any aspect of your life, any relationship, any project. Or you can just enjoy the experience of being confident. When you're ready, take a breath, a nice deep breath. And on the exhale, you can open your eyes and come back. And as you come back, bring that confidence with you. And see if you can feel all of the other people who are on this webinar live now. And see if you can feel those who will be listening later. And if you're listening later, see how much you can feel all of us. All right. Feel free to put anything in the chat that you wish about that brief experience. We understand sometimes after, even if it's short, a brief inner journey, it can take a minute to come all the way back out and connect out here. Sometimes finding words even can be a little tricky. That's all right. Yeah. All right.
See, powerful. Can we get the script for that short visualization? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for this meditation. It was effervescent, a great experience of the invitation to feel everyone sitting in their confidence.
Yeah, we are not alone. That is very true.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
So we know we're coming to an end, and we want to give you some resources that we think will help you grow your confidence even more in dealing with the uncertainty and the trauma that your clients or even your friends or family may be experiencing, and you can hold space for them.
Let me
One is the
ask Denise.
grounding.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Don Angelo. Denise, can you put the slide up so they can see? We have a couple, something you can download. I don't know if that's easy for you. If it's not, it's okay.
Yes. Do you want me to put the slide on?
Yes, of the practices.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This is available. If you can look in the bottom of your screen, you should see the resources tab, and you'll see a link that will allow you to download it. So this is something that we're giving you. It's a takeaway as a reminder of some things you can do. So go ahead, Don Angela, you were starting us off with that first one.
So that grounding practice that I gave you at the start of this call is a way of helping people to resource themselves. Or another way of saying that is to self-reference. So often we're referencing what somebody else has to say and or do, or how they're being with us to tell us how we're feeling about ourselves, right? This is a great way to self-reference themselves and to be grounded in a way that they're not leaving the space, right?
I don't know why all these say one. Maybe they're all number one practices.
I think they're all number one. I think you're
The
right.
other number one, another one is make the commitment to slow down. This, above any technique or tool, will make the biggest difference. And know that it takes practice. Our world will encourage all of us to speed up and believe in a sense of urgency when there is no emergency. And we encourage you to resist that urge and practice slowing down.
Get some support. We talk about that word co-regulation. You need someone else's body to help you to extract that trauma, that triggering that happens so that it gets less and less and less. If we could solve our own problems this way, we would have done it already. And so get a trauma-informed coach or a trauma-attuned coach. And when it comes to a therapist, I would actually say get somebody who does somatic work, right? So that you can use the earth and the universe and all these different resources to come back in your body.
And know that you will get triggered. It's part of the human experience. It's not a problem. It is an offering from life pointing you toward your own healing. And, you know, there are many things you can do. Some we've covered here today. Slowing down is one of the best. Journaling and reflecting is another.
Asking yourself, what does this trauma or this trigger have to offer me? Right? Do something with it. Don't just avoid it or shut down or whatever it is you do. Go fast, go hard, go numb. Whatever it is that you do, notice when you're doing that so that you can come back to the trigger and help yourself get resolution, right?
Yeah. And then finally, we're asking you to reflect on your current attitude towards trauma and unresolved pain. Really take a look. What is your attitude? Does it scare you? As a coach, do you want to push it away and think it's only appropriate for therapists? And to really explore what's shaping your view and what reframe would be both honest and valuable to you. So I am seeing a number of people in the chat are having some trouble getting the download.
Can we
So
put the link in the chat box?
that's what I'm wondering. I'm going to grab something right here. Let's see if this works.
The last thing we want to mention while Michelle is doing that is CTI is offering some discounts for those who want to take the leadership weekend leadership course,
Yes,
right?
right.
Not the 10-month program, the weekend course. I want to be very clear about that.
It's free, right?
Right. So they're offering some discounts on things, whether or not it's you or somebody you know who's interested in the coactive journey. And so we're going to give you access to that with a link.
Yeah. I just put I know several people have been dropping the link to the download that you just saw the slide that has the practices that's in the chat now. So you should be able to grab a copy. hope that works. If it doesn't, we will find another way to post it in YouTube. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yes, the leadership course, the leadership weekend course does not require that you sign up for the entire curriculum. That
Right.
is correct. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just put in a link to the Zoom. That's great. This is not my specialty. Denise, can you put it in the chat for everyone? Maybe you did, but if you can, that would be great. Okay, Denise got it. And Tara, you did it too, so thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
Yeah. We do want to say you could have been spending your time anywhere this evening, and yet you chose to spend it with Michelle and I. We're grateful for your time. We're grateful for your presence, and even more so grateful for your commitment to yourself and others. It has been a pleasure to serve you this way.
Yes. Thank you so much for being here. And
we're
we
going to stay on. Are we staying on for another 10, 15 minutes? Are we doing that? If people have questions or what have you, what do you think?
I can.
Yeah.
I'm game. If people want to stay and ask questions, I'm happy to.
Chinatsu, my leadership mate. Girl, it's good to see you in the room.
The link for the leadership weekend, if you go to coactive.com, you can find links to that, as well as a new experience that CTI is promoting, which is it's a coaching practice group where you can buy a bundle of 3 practice sessions that are led by a facilitator, and that's on the coactive.com site as well. All right, and Denise just put the links in the chat on the bundles too.
Rhett's question was, can you recommend more trauma-attuned training for coaches? There's this guy by name of Thomas Hubel, Hubl, who I've studied with, Michelle has studied with, is really great. There's this other woman, I can't think of her name right now.
Are you thinking of Jane McCampbell?
Yes.
Yes, I've studied with her also. She's excellent. She has a very different approach. She from Thomas, but very good. She does a lot of energetic work and tapping work, and she is a therapist, a trauma trained therapist, and a CTI trained coach, and is on a mission to help coaches feel more confident and comfortable in working with trauma. She's wonderful. You can find her at therapyjane.com. Any other question? Oh, her name again. Here, I believe this is it.
And then I'll put Thomas information in.
Okay. There's Jane's. Yeah, and you're going to put Tom's. The Body Keeps the Score and The Deepest Well. Those are excellent books.
I have James in the chat.
Great. Thank you. So both of them are in the chat now. And I'm going to look at the Q&A. I guess we just answered that one. Anything else? The weekend leadership link. Do you happen to have that? I think it's on the slide, Denise.
Also, feel free to connect with us via LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm going to put in mine here. Happy to help anyone with resources or whatever it is that they need, if I'm able.
I'm getting mine too.
Any other questions before we let you go? Or anything you might want to say?
Someone's asking about the weekend program. Is it online or in person? I believe both.
That my text is not showing up. Oh, I didn't send it to everyone. That's why. Here's Thomas Hubel's information, and here's my LinkedIn.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for being with us, and look forward to seeing you again in the future in whatever way our paths cross.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care.